Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sahar Farooq. On behalf of AFAQ online learning platform, I welcome all of you to this video lesson for New Sun series Science Grade 5 Unit 1. This video lesson has been designed for you if you are a student, a teacher or a parent. But before starting this video, I would like to share with parents and teachers that why AFAQ is unique and different. Dear parents and teachers, as you know, planning is key to success. That's why AFAQ has planned a systematic learning through sport material. We provide academic calendars, timetables and DLPs for proper learning and teaching of the textbooks. AFAQ academic calendar is divided into 3 terms and each term is further divided into 2 periodic units. So there are 6 periodic units in total. If we look further, each periodic unit is divided into 6 weeks. 5 weeks are for learning and 6th week is for assessment. So there are total 36 weeks, out of which 30 weeks are for learning and 6 weeks are for assessments. That's not all. On the basis of subject weightage and academic calendar, we provide a suggested timetable. If we look at this, we have given 5 periods per week to the science subjects, 2 double periods as you can see here and 1 single period. But you can change it according to your needs and requirements. Now I will move to my students. Dear students, as I have told you in previous video that our Unit 1 of textbook is divided into 2 parts, Unit 1A and Unit 1B. You have read about Unit 1A in previous lecture. Now we will learn about Unit 1B. Our Unit 1B falls in periodic term 1, periodic unit 1, and it will be covered in periodic weeks 3 to 5. Unit 1B is classification of living organisms, animals and plants, and we will cover 5 SLOs in this unit. Students, I will ask you some questions. You have to answer these questions. Have you ever noticed body structures of different animals or even your own? What distinctive features did you see? How can you differentiate them from each other? Did you see hair on your body or feathers on the birds? Did you ever analyze the structure of some sea animals? How will you classify these animals into different categories? Think about these questions and reply to your teachers or parents. Students, I think you have replied to those questions. Now you have to categorize different animals on the basis of similarities and differences. You have to write similarities and differences on your notebook and show it to your parents or teachers and come back. Now let's observe. Look at this picture. What you can see in this picture? You can see different animals here. Just look at these animals, think of their names and answer the questions given at the end of the page 14 and then come back. Students, let's move to week 3. It's activity time and we will move to next period. In this period, we will cover 1 SLO, differentiate between vertebrates and invertebrates based on their characteristics. The complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 1, Day 1, Week 3, Unit 1, Term 1. Okay, look at this wall chart. What you can see in it? You can see different invertebrates and vertebrates in this picture. Look at this picture and observe them carefully. Okay students, let's explore the world of animals. Let's see how can they be classified. Animals are found everywhere. They are present in your surroundings. You can find animals deep into the oceans as well as some animals flying in the air. They are present in deserts, jungles, oceans. You can find them everywhere. Do you know that animal is the largest kingdom present in this world? As you can see in this picture, different animals are present in different parts of the world. So students, this large kingdom is divided into 2 main groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. Now we will move to our next period. In this period, we are going to cover 1 SLO and the complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 2, Day 2, Week 3, Unit 1, Term 1. Let's observe this wall chart. This wall chart is about classification of vertebrates. You can see different vertebrates in this picture, like some mammals, some birds, some reptiles and amphibians are there. Before starting the classification of vertebrates, let's study what are warm-blooded animals and what are cold-blooded animals. Cold-blooded animals are those animals that can change their body temperature according to the environment. They are warm when their environment is warm and they are cold when their environment is cold. But warm-blooded animals are those animals that maintain a constant body temperature irrespective of the temperature of their environment. Let's explore and write what are cold-blooded animals and what are warm-blooded animals. Here some animals are given. You have to find and write which of them are cold-blooded animals and which of them are warm-blooded animals. So quickly do this activity and come back. Okay students, now we will learn about different groups of vertebrates. Let's study fish. Do you know that there are about 28,000 different species of fish found in this world? What are fish? Fish have streamlined bodies that help them to swim in water. Their bodies are covered with scales that protect them and help them in their movement. Fish breathe through gills and swim using fins. Fish are cold-blooded animals. They live in water and produce slimy eggs. Their eggs are soft and jelly-like. Tuna fish, blue tank fish, puffer fish are some examples of fish. Now let's study another group, amphibians. Why they are called amphibians? Because they live double lives. Some part of their lives they spend on land and some part of their life they spend in water. Amphibians are also cold-blooded animals. They lay eggs. Their eggs are jelly-like, but they do not have hard shells. Their skins lack scales, hair and feathers. They breathe through lungs and skins, and their skin is moist and slippery and help them in breathing. Frog, newt, belly toad are some examples of amphibians. Okay students, observe these flashcards. What you can see in these flashcards? Here you can see some fish and amphibians in these flashcards. It's activity time and we will move to our next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO and the complete methodology. To cover this SLO is given in DLP 3, Day 3, Week 3, Unit 1, Term 1. Students, you have learned about fish and amphibians. Now, another group of vertebrates is reptiles. Reptiles are also cold-blooded animals. Some of them live in water while some live in land. Most reptiles lay hard-shelled eggs, but some lay soft and leathery eggs. Their skin is dry and covered with scales. Their scales protect them. Most reptiles breathe through their lungs. Tortoise, dragon lizards and snakes are examples of some reptiles. Yes, the next group of vertebrates is birds. You can see birds around you. Birds are warm-blooded animals. You have read about amphibians, fish and reptiles. All those groups were cold-blooded, but birds are warm-blooded. Birds have hollow bones which make their bodies light and help them to fly. Some birds such as kiwi and ostrich, they cannot fly. They are called running birds. Birds lay eggs with hard shells and keep them in a nest. Some of them live both in water and on land, like ducks and geese. They breathe through their lungs. Sparrow, rooster, turkey are examples of some birds. So students, you have learned about different groups of vertebrates. Now look at this worksheet. You have to write the characteristics of different groups of vertebrates here. So quickly do this activity and come back. It's activity time and we will move to the next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO and the complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 4, Day 4, Week 3, Unit 1, Term 1. Students, look at here and observe these flashcards. What you can see? You can see a cat here, a horse, an elephant, a lion. What similarities you can find in these animals? Can you find some similarities? Just think about it and answer it to your parents. Students, the next group of vertebrates is mammals. If you look at your skin, you will see tiny hair. All mammals have hair or fur on their bodies. They are warm-blooded animals. Most of them live on land, but some of them live in water like dolphins and whales. Mammals breathe through their lungs. Their young generally develop in the mother's womb, and mothers feed their young ones. Horses, leopards, elephants, lions are some examples of mammals. Students, you have learned about different groups of vertebrates. Now open your book page number 18 and solve this activity. You have to choose 2 vertebrates and write their details in the given spaces. So quickly solve this activity and come back. Students, now turn to page 19 of your book and solve the activity 1B2. You have to paste the picture of each group of vertebrates. You have to paste 1 fish here, 1 amphibian here, 1 reptile here, 1 mammal and 1 bird, and you have to write which vertebrate you like the most and why. Solve this activity, show it to your teachers and come back. It's activity time and we will move to the next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO. The complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 5, Day 5, Week 3, Unit 1, Term 1. You have learned about vertebrates. Now we will look into invertebrates. Students, have you ever observed some crawling animals around you? You must have seen different insects. You must have seen butterflies or some worms around you. All these crawling, flying, swimming or floating animals are invertebrates because they do not have backbone. They play a vital role in Earth's ecosystem. Do you know that about 97% of all animals are invertebrates? Invertebrates are divided into 5 groups. Look at this wall chart. Here different invertebrates are shown. You can see a spider, a starfish, a jellyfish, a sponge in this wall chart. Look at them and observe them carefully. Now students, we will see what are insects. Insects are crawling animals. Insects are invertebrates. They have 3 main body parts: head, thorax and abdomen. If you look at this picture, this portion is head, this is thorax and this is abdomen. Each insect has compound eyes. Do you know what compound eye is? A compound eye is made up of many small eyes that are joined together. They have a pair of antennae. Here you can also see some pictures of different insects like wasp, dragonfly, mosquito, moth. Now observe these flashcards and identify different insects. Can you name them? Yes, here is the picture of cockroach. This is a bee. This is an ant, a dragonfly, a moth. Now we will move to week 4. It's activity time and we are moving towards our next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO and the complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 1, Day 1, Week 4, Unit 1, Term 1. You have already learned about one group of invertebrates, that is insect. Now we will study another group of invertebrates, that is worms. Have you ever seen a worm? You must have seen an earthworm. Do you feel its body? It feels soft and is covered with slime. Worms have segmented bodies and they have water inside them to hold them up. Earthworms, tapeworms and slugs are some examples of worms. Some worms like flatworms and roundworms do not have segmented bodies. And do you know that some worms live in the intestines of animals like roundworms and they cause infection in them. The next group of invertebrates is sponges. What are sponges? Sponges are aquatic animals. They have irregular bodies and they cannot move from one place to another. So they are attached to the bottom of seabeds or rocks. About 98% of sponges are marine. They live in oceans and they obtain food by filtering seawater. You can see a sea anemone, which is a sponge here. Now observe these flashcards. What you can see in these flashcards? Here are some pictures of worms and here you can see different sponges in these flashcards. Students, you have learned about insects, worms and sponges. Here in this worksheet, you have to write the characteristics of these invertebrates. So quickly write these characteristics and come back. It's activity time and we are moving to the next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO, and the complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP2, Day 2, Week 4, Unit 1, Term 1. The next group of invertebrates is starfish. Starfish are also called sea stars. They are marine animals. A starfish have 5 arms and a central disc. Their arms are covered with spines. The next group of invertebrates is snail. Snails have soft bodies. Their bodies are covered with hard shells. Snails are found in all natural surroundings. You might find some snails crawling in your gardens. Students, you have learned about different groups of invertebrates. Now open your book page number 21 and solve the activity 1B3 and 1B4. So quickly solve these activities and come back. It's activity time and we are moving to our next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO, classify the plants into major groups, dicots and monocots, and give examples of each group. The complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 3, Day 3, Week 4, Unit 1 and Term 1. Students, you have learned about different groups of animals. Now we will study kingdom Plantae. Do you know that how plants are different from animals? Okay, answer me. Yes. Plants are different from animals because they can prepare their own food. Scientists have discovered about 380,000 different species of plant. Plants are divided into two main groups, non-flowering and flowering. Students, you know that plants are divided into two groups, flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Now, open your book page number 22 and solve the activity 1B5. Solve this activity and show it to your teachers and come back. It's activity time and we are moving to our next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO and the complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 4, Day 4, Week 4, Unit 1, Term 1. Now we will see what is the difference between flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Non-flowering plants are those plants that do not have flowers. Some of them are seed-bearing plants like conifers. They are also called gymnosperms. Their seeds are not enclosed in fruits. Some examples are spruce, pine, fir, cedar. But some non-flowering plants are seedless plants like ferns, liverworts and mosses. They are called simple plants. Since they lack seeds, so they reproduce by spores. Here you can see some non-flowering plants. Moss, fern, conifer are non-flowering plants. Now we will see what are flowering plants. Flowering plants have flowers. Rose, jasmine, wheat, rice, maize are examples of flowering plants. Okay students, observe these flashcards. What you can see here? You can see some non-flowering plants and some flowering plants. Identify these plants and tell their names to your teachers. It's activity time and we are moving to our next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO and the complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 5, Day 5, Week 4, Unit 1 and Term 1. Students, you have learned about flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Now we will see the types of flowering plants. Flowering plants are divided into two categories, monocots and dicots. Do you know what are monocots and dicots? Monocots are the plants that have one cotyledon in their seeds and dicots are the plants that have two cotyledons in their seeds. Sugarcane, wheat, rice and maize are examples of monocot plants, while rose, grams and beans are examples of dicot plants. Here you can see a monocot plant and a dicot plant. Now we are moving to week 5. It's activity time and we are moving to the next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO and the complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 1, Day 1, Week 5, Unit 1, Term 1. Dear teachers, we also provide flashcards and wall chart with our DLPs. Look at this wall chart, print it out and paste it in the class so that students can look at them on the daily basis and learn the concepts in a better way. Now we will see how monocots are different from dicot plants. If you look at the plant, you will find differences in the different parts of the monocot plants and dicot plants. First of all, we will see roots. Do you know what is the function of roots? Roots absorb water from the soil. It also provides support and stores food and nutrients. If you look at the roots of monocot plants, what you can see, monocot plants have fibrous roots. Stem provides support to the plants. Stem have vascular bundles. Vascular bundles consist of two tubes, xylem and phloem. Xylem provides water to the plants and phloem carries food to the different parts of the plant. If you look at the stem of monocot plant, you can see scattered xylem and phloem in the stem. Leaves are the food factories of the plant. But monocot plants have long leaves with parallel veins. Flowers are reproductive part of the plant. If you look at the flowers of a monocot plant, you will find the petals and sepals in multiples of 3. You can find the petals and sepals of monocot plants like they will be 3 or 6 or 9 or 12 in numbers. Seeds of monocot plants have one cotyledon. It's practice time. Open your book page number 26 and solve the activity 1B7. Here some parts of plants are given. So you have to write the characteristics in the given spaces. Solve this activity, show it to your teachers and come back. It's activity time and we are moving to our next period. In this period, we are going to cover one SLO and the complete methodology to cover this SLO is given in DLP 2, Day 2, Week 5, Unit 1, Term 1. Students, in previous period, you have learned about monocot plants. Now we will see dicot plants. The roots of dicot plants are tap roots. You can see the difference in fibrous roots and tap roots. The stem in the dicot plants have well organized xylem and phloem. Look at this picture. The leaves in the dicot plants have broad shape and there is a network of veins which is not in monocot plants. If you look at the flowers of dicot plants, you will see the sepals and petals are in multiples of 4 or 5. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals. And the seeds of dicot plants have 2 cotyledons. Students, you have learned about monocot plants and dicot plants. Now let's do the activity 1B6. So open your book page number 26, read the statement and solve the activity. You have to read these features and write whether this is a monocot or dicot plant. Solve this activity, show it to your teachers and come back. Okay, now it's time to learn with fun. Some activities are given on page 26 and 27 of your book. So solve these activities and show it to your teachers. It's activity time and we are moving to the next period. In this period, we are going to solve the exercise. The complete methodology to solve the exercise is given in DLP 3, Day 3, Week 5, Unit 1, Term 1. Students, open your book page number 27 and solve the work it out. Here some clues are given. You have to read them and guess the name of vertebrates. So solve this activity. Students, I hope you have solved the work it out. Now turn to page number 28 of your books and read the statement. Choose the correct options. The first one is, which of these have streamlined bodies that help them to swim fast against water currents? Birds, fish, amphibians and reptiles. What is the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer is fish. Now read the other statements and choose the correct option. Solve it quickly and come back. On page number 28 of your textbook, question B is given. You have to write true or false. Read the statements and write true or false here in the boxes. Students, on page 29 of your textbook, a picture is given. This is a picture of butterfly. You have to label the different parts of butterfly. Students, turn to page 29 of your textbooks. Here some questions are given. You have read about different concepts in this chapter. So, read the statements of question and answer these questions. Now students, turn to page number 30. Here a project is given about animal groups. You have to read the procedure of this project and design this according to the procedure. It's activity time and we are moving to our next periods. Day 4 and Day 5 of our Week 5 is for revision of the concepts of Unit 1A and Unit 1B. Dear students, solve these worksheets and you will be able to revise all the concepts. Dear students, we have completed our Unit 1B. I hope you have understood all the concepts. Now you have to learn these concepts because there will be an assessment in Week 6. Now I will say Allah Hafiz to you and will meet you in the next video.